conseguir. Shiri Abu Shibuchi Shifty. On the Poi Chochore. Saganda Vala Miso, Jovichudo Chundal paper to Tabacomure. And Koran Jeda Mamure. Jedaji Chogo no Donshu Purus, Jeruchko, Jeruchimano, and Janjo Pusatomore. And I would have Gugu, Tabo Savan Nadia Kenchi, Chunda no Mochu Lady or Chai or Ya. How did treat like Janjo the K. Jugaba. Janjo Kung the K, Shinduna, Janjo the K, So Shindu Kong K, like in Kunyipa, Jeruchimano, the Sham, and the Chimapa. And it the Shingo Marilagi. Paruchi la Lagavia, Ta Chotinepa, Rusho, Jola, Tubachito, Tema, Chujeche, and Judilima, Sonche, told Deva, and Paruchi, I show asks. And I was a ma Korean, Tuchimala Consuni, Chumi Sasa, like a Karichigo the dead ever. I like Mizimodo, Jed, Tadi. Chuje you can Zamdu Chabada, Kuniga Kabada. The Barutica Lema goods, Jerumuchli upon Jessa. The Jerumuchi, so hero, Jerumuchi, so hero, Sasson loves. The last and didn't want to watch it. Akuchiloma, the Goro, today I umber. Ya, child, have one instance. On the man so few Janja Sassunsa. Janja Sajo. Tachuron, those son, Chimidpa, the Ridon, Chuguna, look, Sheziji, good, Che, Chugunpa, Che, Samayabusu, Chonson, Gamna, Lu, Janjo de Sham, Chewing to Tumbache, and to Kisho As. Ned Korachi low to be east and lost. You want to let Cheshas, share one. Chirbuchimia and Tondu. When you're lugging the Sabata would let a machine to let Cherujan Yavode or somebody. Lugging shadow Chedu Sugar Mizone. How we are long, do degree. And get to you, Cher Meton shoot, and Jashin Busu. Thubten Dhargye Ling. How could I met on the Lavande, Mean, Jezebel Lagaki? Something. Zugukanga with the Jasu Yusa. Again, Zugukan and Jasu the Carres. Ah, Kawaimba, Chazo Mache, Churomi, True or something. And then Jadialu, Jajiton. De tu de tu Shindo Kabuja Sashu, Masago me Sunsa. This has an died Pobake, Chiluto, and Dranala, this Shadi. There was a shaman. Chunta Chutuma, the Nelson, she said, the Nelson, Gishila, Sancho, and Trisur of Najanoro now Archer. Yeah, he asks. They're going to sit in Shimaba. Sancho lady, and to sit in Labada. Trisur and H. Sugar, the Chunzal, the Shanzo Ayona 6. What's the Shan? Cargo in the Chayamas. Those go red asks. Jagani, Kayuyachi, Maja Duchi, Buari. Kasa, Janani, Kim, Tridachi, Buari, Bondachi, Kani, Chichi, Salagi, Minagata, Chichi, Medo, Zambakachi, Buari. Chichi came, Zakushachi, Buari. Koko came, Kashiku, Bunji, Buari. What's it in you? Takarcho. That day, man, Juma, you doing it, the Shatsu cage, Yungo asked us. Truth don't show me as long as you send shit some of that. Juba Kashi to the Yung. There was the Jew, and so they made it. To see you would do the Tonja, Long Jikashi or Tan deva chia delivery. Deva chia la devi set us deva tandu ha rong du mi ba chia ta ma tan sha bari ali te to ani ma rong ko du mi ba ri mi chia ne mi ba mang go yin zang jerin che se ru yo re.
So we have just come to the part where one does the recitation of the mantra, and the text here contains the many different the visualization that which one has to do while reciting the mantra.
Debe mi ba de la le ji ge la je ba ko sha yo ne che lo chi ndrim ba da de ba le ta mi ba yo gre ba yo gu gre ta ri ma ra sun je ba ne go yo re.
So the text that you find here is the body mandala with great elaboration. So therefore it contains accordingly the type of visualization in a very elaborate way that one has to perform while reciting the mantra.
Dachi bisha yoro ji wa.
La yore.
Yoro wa. Oda ran la se ve jo di shin yu kolo zando sun ju zan yi te ma che ni sane di ju yu kolo zando sun randa ra sun zan yi go se ba she chari yin ba lu ji ge la gang ga go chari re. Dan de mi de la ni ga chu ju kolo yu ji ji zo mo hu me to gan da we jing go me she ji me re ka bu ba da bo o de ne ma da bo ya.
So we have already placed the deities in one's body in the five different chakras, from the crown to the sacred place, and so now we start reciting the text, which contains the visualizations while reciting the mantra. So first thing is that we have to think of the chakra at the heart.
Dan jinga chu ju kolo yu so ji zang mo zonggur gu yo ro wa ji li ji zang de jie li jie ji ge zo de zo. So ko ran ne ru ji li me wa la dan ma tin du se bu sha tu gu ma re nga ra zo me ba ji ju yu sam sa che.
So first thing is that we have to concentrate at the heart. Then we have 9 deities with one in the center, and then so these are all very in a very small size, like the size of a grain, and it will be difficult to get the precise clarity and the vividness of those deities.
Jizumang humi togan dawe jingor me she jing man de khabu ba tabus nigalan dawe jingor ji samdungor dawe jingor be me shel ji me de khabu ba tabus shigo me she singe de nobure nobu karbu me shigene be me shel singe de dan de ba gongbu ingre shambala le yue chöre me she sta kmandari be me shel ji me de khabu ba tabus shig me de na je karbu de use da hui ge dang ge chamba dang yi hung ge chamba.
And then the first thing that we have to visualize is at the heart of the central figure of the deity, at the heart. Then we have to visualize a little disc, little disc of crystal nature, and it is a type of a jewel. It's called manchil, and it's said that one finds this white crystal jewel in the land of Shambhala. But anyway, that one has to first visualize this little disc, crystal disc, at the heart of the central figure of the chakra at the heart.
Tang yi hung ge chamba song yo bi sha korona la. Yo yin zang tang yi hung ge chamba su ji da da yi ge dam che. Dang gen da che tele na da yo re tele no lo la hung che. Dire yin na ni lam do chang ge cha shi la hung yi dam ge chamba song yo re. Ni zeng ge song she yin ba da. Hung di che je wo mun de ba to ga hung ge che de ba so san ya ha se ya do. They serve Naso Yigasung de Hung Diche, 홍게 레고 나로라 이게 담디 이게 담이 정보 공유 공부 이게 담이 정보제.
So you find here in the text that in the circle of the syllable tum, then one has to visualize the syllable home in the circle of the syllable tum. But according to the teaching of Judge Pamukha, then it is said that one should visualize in the circle of the syllable home a green syllable tum.
제라면도 좀 자주 해야 돼. 따부 배문면서 숨쉬기 중요해. 인생의 숨쉬어야 돼. 대인상 로터는 요야당 라면 숨쉬 니자라 카가 요인다. 가르치니 저거 요인다 하수요래. 홍당의 참아 전에 저거 요인다. 당 홍의 참아 전에 저거인다.
So at the time that Great Master Judge Pamukha, when he received the teachings on this subject, then it was explained to him by his guru, Tavu Padma Vajra. He told him that one should visualize the syllable thumb in the circle in the tigle of the syllable home. But actually there's no difference. One can do either one likes.
당 홍의 탈라 다리도 서 이기디 과kur고 거래. 과kur도 뇌에 잡대 연구도 그 숨요래. 뇌라 옴제. 후다 옴니 가져지고 아니 뇌다다들 다리 소하 이기줄이 다른 탈에 야롱되게 이게 정고 매 슈그르 저부지다 바고 이제 잡아서로 저부 저리 멤버 베리진도 시드는 소잡아서로 이게 뭐살라 bombo 타살라 트러블.
And so right after that one has to visualize the circle of mantra starting from the front side, then it goes the clockwise, the one ring of a mantra, and there the central syllable home and the beginning syllable of the mantra om, then coming sort of then face to face, and then thus it goes one time the clockwise, and all the syllables are luminous and not sort of flat or it's all sort of very radiant luminous characters.
가도 정고 말게 넣으시. 대배자 코코 멤버 농부. 패시리 이게 렘바 메로 삼으로지. 드즈스가 퉁퉁 살동이하고 요래. 이게 강가.
And also all the syllables are green syllables, the color of the jewel market, and not sort of very dry and without any luminosity, but one has to visualize them something very living and something very radiant and luminous, as though they are wet with the dews of nectar coming from the bodies of those syllables. Also it is very good if one can visualize those mantras, so sort of self-sounding.
따기다 두다리 세라노 수수기 다디 이게 코로도 수타네 배 자샤나시 자투되고.
Each syllable then producing their own tone or the sound. For example, that om is producing its own tone, and then like all of the rest of the syllables, then producing their own kind of a tone and a sound.
다 전부시라 용어마로와 두모 코란 취주치 내르지 매와 아니 대 도간다에 중고다 이인루치다 매바 자즈게 부즈게 자베 차셰자마도 요데 요거 말해봐데 근데지 요 세부 요 삼버체 밤이바 야고지 매바 야고지.
So since the body of the deity, of the central figure, the central one in the heart is itself very small, and so therefore it has got to be extremely small, those syllables that one has to visualize at her heart, and they are like like being drawn with one single piece of hair, sort of very fine type of syllables. So it will not be easy to get them clear, but nevertheless that one should think that the syllables are there. So there are two possible visualizations explained. The one is the fulfilling the two purposes, And the second one is to perform the various activities of the mandala to benefit sentient beings. So there are two possible visualizations explained here. And so the first one is the first possible visualization is to fulfill the purpose of oneself and others. And for this first, from this mantra ring, from the mantra circle, then emanate a lot of rays of light out.
So, tamda hung semba tam semba kari chigina or tamina tami nanda hungi nanda deliver.
So actually from the when you send out rays of light, then the rays of light coming from the bodies of all the deities in one's in the different chakras, and especially from the central figure of the heart chakra, and from the heart of this deity, from the syllable thumb. If you visualize the syllable thumb in the circle of syllable home, then you have to emanate rays of light coming from the tiny nanda of that syllable thumb. So in such a way that you have to visualize sending out those rays of light. So you have to visualize sort of very great rays of light sending out, as though there are 100,000 suns shining simultaneously, and such a great amount of light has to be sent out.
So the
light, the rays of light are going out into every possible directions, up and down, every possible directions. And then with those rays of light, one has also to send out the offerings, and making offerings to the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions. And also the offering is done on many different levels, on external, on inner, secret, and also on the level of the suchness. And so through having done this offering, then it has sort of generated sort of a great bliss in that state of mind. So in some rays of light there are no goddesses, but just the offering is done only through those rays of light, and then striking those to the bodies of those Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. And by through the touch of those rays of light to the body of those Buddhas of 10 directions, then that sort of activates or exalts the Buddhas. So So those rays of light and bringing back the lot of blessings of the Buddhas, and all the physical blessings of the Buddhas will be collected back in the form of the 5 different deities of Tara, with different colors, such as like the white, red, blue, yellow, green, and so forth, and then it will be absorbed into one's body, and all the blessings of the speech will be collected back in the form of syllables, in the form of the mantras, and especially syllable Tam and syllable Hum, and collecting back into one's body, and all the material blessings of those Buddhas will be collected back in the form of the jewel ornaments, and all the blessings of the activities of Buddhas in the form of the various instruments, such as like the Utpala, flowers, and so forth. So finally, all of those rays of light, and as well as the blessings, will be collected back into one's body. So that's by connecting back all of those rays of light, and with blessing, that one's santana, that one's stream of consciousness, is sort of then being blessed by those Buddhas. And then also one has to send out more rays of light, and this time the rays of light going out into the 6 realms of life.
Mela chiga nachi dume, Dorula lenshi timumba da kuishi jebe dume, Yeda le trishin kumba da ngenshi jibe dume, Nyawala tsarang tsusi ki dume, Riru susi dume. Chitang la dine kuwebe dume dan juwe dume, shabdi juwe dume, kuwe diwe dume, tsangwa la jam, wezebe riba zangebe dume didata tre.
So this time that when the rays of light going out into those 6 realms of life, then for example, the rays going out into the realm of the God, then liberating them from their state of sufferings, especially from the type of suffering they experience at the time of their death, and especially the asuras also being freed from their general sufferings, in particular from their fighting and from their jealousy. And then likewise that all the sentient beings from the 6 realms of life, completely liberated from their state of sufferings. So the like striking those sentient beings, then having the power of like the alchemical transformations. So if one has just a little amount of this chemical, then it can transform a great amount of iron into gold. So likewise that through striking slightly by this rays of light are all completely transformed physically, verbally, and mentally.
Toge Martin was Trijo was it simply little river Zangwe, Domain DJ Pasha Danjeva John Lela, Lut Hameba de Pajan Jesu Goloju, Sim Dameba, Nyomut, Tosunda Jebe, Sim de John, Sim Toban, Chukoloju, To Same, Longoloju, where Sanje Jisala goes from Sambroche.
So just by striking through those rays of light, all of the defilements are completely purified, and the ordinary body is transformed into the divine body of the deity, and their minds are completely transformed into the mind of the Dharmakaya, the state of Dharmakaya, and their so all of the different states are transformed into the states of different Buddhas. So in such a way this transformation has taken place.
Yang Zhang go to this Chico Tone degree, this was a Javachen degree, this in a Singent so Kalan Roaleta, Lula Torba, Chutibaji Torba Zangebe, did it some Germany. Yang Sanje, Jism Pama Dream Kupona goes from somebody.
So sometimes one can also send out instead of rays of light only the nectar, the flow of nectar, and just by just becoming one drop to the body of those sentient beings, then is able to is fully capable of purifying all the negative imprints and placing them to the state of the deity.
Ya rangi thoge mai ta rangi kholonga ya lada thoga da tami da harin da chevale jizeme ko truine jizeme ko pa to me ba sinje ge janda nya ba nyezi ge du chi ba da ba na ke khang ko pa tru.
Sometimes instead of sending out rays of light from your body, you can also emanate countless forms of Tara from your body, which completely could fill the whole space.
Dene sinje re ge be no do chani cha yebe tsemol be dizipo te sinje su ji ul ma shu ni duzi jen bo ba ya chojin ji cha jen ze ba mi le ten ba chojin de jebjin cha ja ju ngol ju ju je bo no.
And so sometimes through this visualization of sending out countless forms of the deity, then as soon as that each of those forms, then coming to each of those different sentient beings, then from their finger, like the left finger, then from those tip of those fingers, then coming out rays of light, purifying all of those sentient beings. And sometimes that by placing the hand on the crown of those sentient beings and receiving the full blessings.
Sometimes
from the feet of those deities, then coming rays of light, which also purifies all sentient beings. So sometimes the deities then placing their feet on the crown of each of those different sentient beings for the mean of to purify their negative imprints. And to some sentient beings, then they give particular teachings, enlightened teachings. And to some that they send out rays of light to bless, to give blessings through rays of light. And to some sentient beings, then they send out the second forms, then who give them the special empowerment and initiations. And to some sentient beings, then they send out the second forms, which completely absorbs into their body. So by this, then receiving blessings. So when you recite the mantra, you can expand by doing many different possible visualizations in alternative way. So the sending out these rays of light and nectar and the countless forms of the deity, these three different things which emanate from your body and have also the different purposes. By sending out rays of light, then placing all sentient beings to the state of the Dharmakaya, and by sending out rays of nectar, then bringing all sentient beings to the state of the form body of the Buddha, and by sending out those countless forms of the deity, then placing all sentient beings to the state of the unification of the Buddha. So by sending out those countless forms, then they also give teachings to the sentient beings, which contain all the aspects of the Lamrim, such as the practice of a Guru devotion and the meaning and the value of this fully endowed human state, then renunciation, bodhicitta, right understanding, emptiness, and all of the aspects of the paramitas, and as well as offering initiations, empowerments, and so through this various means that one fulfills the wishes of those sentient beings.
Sanjay Chile la so nduru dune yewa no dune ni shu sa ju dona shiwe le da ne dona jilang go ba sa mo do ji ge tal son yo Chile ni shu sa ju go ne si je ge dun je be mi ba che cho re.
So according to clear realization of the ornament of the clear realization of Buddha Maitreya, he said the activities of the Buddhas can be explained with respect to 27 different factors.
다 산제가 연대 저 전신 나는 좀 기분나 여바 강가 단다 다제 가서 산제가 연대 되다 되고 보니까 시제가 된 지가 여바 상로 동시에나 아니 연대 조지 melangwa 통어 되지 코나 대주 전세야 되마 연대만 무슨 아나 저 원주 또주 원주제 데려가 연대만 무요리 다 저가 신고만 시 자기야 말이.
So in the great texts there are a lot of the explanations on the great qualities of the Buddha, such as like the 8 powers and the 10 powers and so forth. And if one has studied those, then one can apply understanding of those things here in the practice of the sadhana. So that will be very great.
Today, Salo Dong Dong Siji Don Chigi Chigi Tsu Dugu Dugu Pa Juba Pa Dugu Dugu Tsu Dugu 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 Miba Chani and then Handu.
So you have seen that you have to emanate those rays of light to the sentient beings and collecting back, and then this will be repeated many times. So that is it's done while you are engaged in the actual recitation of the mantra.
That when you give me bache, that on me be jaji in it, me ba mambu, that turn remove the deva in, remove and the salo dog in, tule le labu, salo mamu don juraba, ma mamu duya yungri. 도체 다 진구 제초게 미바다 레와 지금 다 되냐마 양주 이게 지금 중국 걸레라도 가스노 중국 라다 받으면 버트
just one
건조 나무 건조 딱이 열로 매로서 건조 딱이 열어
딱이
이게 지금 중국 국부들 란다파도 매워 주니 우동화다 냠도 주베 매워 수수 우파도도 너고 예바도 호출 전에 주니 나게 타셔도 파주.
So when you come to this the visualization, you have to send out the countless forms of the deity with your breathing out through the right nostril. Then you send out the countless forms of the deity out.
진고 제초 되면서 대신 상도 나라에 되리. 매저바랑에 도가 좀 배자리 도가 제초 조주의 시시나냐는 시나장사 되리. 되는 마저 손주 손이요. 이제 이놈 우리 저거다 저의 연구 받으면 신년에 신나장 주의시다. 어디마 다배 네요리. 쳔바르고 지진이네 주지지요. 다주송도 주송. 더버실지 제이콘의 지지. 정해요. 어디서랬어? 진고 제초스리.
So actually
the sort of it. Dan de la sanlo de jingo jejo kaka je sanlo don seje nyom ba nga ge diwa jongju de rinde naga ngare.
So what happens is here through the various activities of the mandala, it will be carried out in order to benefit sentient beings. Is also you find in the Guaya Samaja, and the Guaya Samaja that you find there are 32 the different groups, and then in the practice of Vajravarava, you find 15 the different activities which will be carried out to benefit sentient beings. And here you find in 5 groups. That means to eradicate the 5 different types of afflictive emotions of the sentient beings.
다들 예부시에나 고구마래 상가도 디네 질러져 맞는 리지마래. 말아서 코디야 되게 자와자와데. 녀무도 송게 거네 랑데 뭐지냐 내려 시당도 지그래. 공주들이 시당스도 시랑게 거는 데 디바 망고산 코지 코디고리 다 나지 마셴바체 레준데 마셴바 아니 조단데 비추 마셴바 관사게 되면 또 뭐지 마셴바 추 마셴바 베가네나 무니 베 데모 쳔게 되는 코지 코데버리
So the basic the reason that one is always within this existence is that there are three types of the root causes, and one of it is the hatred, which is the anger, and motivated by this afflictive emotion, that one goes to accumulate a lot of unwholesome causes. And another one is that through lacking the understanding of the different aspect of the Dharma, such as the cause and the effect, and understanding of the emptiness, and so thus lacking the precise understanding, motivated by that, one also goes to accumulate a lot of unwholesome causes.
노르롱 줄 세나제 수마데르제 타나 세나스냐 공 추인셰레 세나제 베티기오 말이 세나지그리 세나 공용행 랑게 마데르 미에 바치기 돼서 통 아까 테마데 초가스 미 제가 돈줄 가고 체 세나지그리 세나 그베 아니 저지마 이다지 루그레 밀르레나 쪼부 사지 돈줄 전부 지지그리 동 세나쟁에데 So 나je 나시부지 인사베베 양아 예제등에데 저지마 온산 메케 추주질 지고요 신나다가 제니 고안고야 자와지지그리
So another possible cause is the miserliness, and this comes to manifest with respect to one's wealth, and sometimes even through this attitude of through this manufacture, one doesn't want to impart the knowledge to others through teaching or through advices, through instructions, and also sometimes through this manufacture, one tries to obstruct others from doing the practice of giving. And the possible cause of these is to take rebirth as hungry ghosts in the next life. And then another one is the pride, and if one has too much of pride, then this will also cause to take a rebirth in that one does not have any power. So these two are also one of the root causes. Through these one can accumulate a lot of unwholesome causes. And another root cause is the desire, and this one can generate with respect to the sentient beings, and as well as to the inanimate objects like the property and so forth. And then this attitude of the mind then completely binds the mind to the object, and thus one is being unable to separate it from that state, and then thereby accumulating many causes which are unwholesome. And then Mila Chu Yune you can let Chadoche, Jujala you can let Chadoche, Dam Neda you can let Chadoche, me Punsu Kandeji lay in a Chadoche, Jenju Punsu Tunsi Mizuba Asja, Jen Juba Punsu Kari Yune Tila Magani Chadoche, Chado to do Shiji. Another great cause of trouble is the jealousy, and this comes to manifest with respect to the goodness of others and not being able to bear, and so this also acts as a cause, as a foundation to accumulate a lot of unwholesome actions and imprints.
야 내주지 대내 주는 거리 용거에서는 산재기 토고 이신한테 토 용거요래 저는 그전에 대리 아니 니지고 와서 생제나 니지 녀모가 동에 오고 고안이 차는 배 고알라 타매봐 동에라 타매봐 배 조주산매 동에 빠도매 냐고한테 셴도 니지 동에서 녀모가 동아 대외나는 시제나 시당게 오고 고안이 니지 산에 아니 니게 지점말에 란다빠도매봐 또 동화다냐는 나쁜 바주네 신제 시당나지 시당장.
So what will be purified here are the 5 poisons. The 5 poisons, and also the 5 aggregates will be transformed, and as a result one achieves the 5 wisdoms of the Buddha. And at this point the first thing that one has to do is to develop a very powerful compassion with respect to the sentient beings and the sufferings, and then one with this compassion one sending out the countless forms of the deity and purifying the sentient beings from sufferings they experience from the root cause of hatred.
시당 정도디에 선 주마 뭐 빠도 매바 주의 시제라는 수수이 개와던 상바 가셔를 추 때는 정고야리 추시 가셔를 뒤집어는 정고야는 걸로 뒤집어줘 가셔는 배셔 조진이 차져 때는 정고야 가셔를 저진이 차져 되는 정고야 가셔를 고파 때문에 정고야 가셔 증거도 주는 정고야 증거 되는 시간에 전문에 나래 고 차네 너도로는 시당 배 도지리지 증거도 주네 온고 제도 그 도바 줘를 지는 사지에 살고 배 미바체 와다 돈도야니 시제나게 시당 문주로 즉 질와니 소바 시당 사변의 제바 마방게 바기배 그 덮시도 저네 시제가 시당장 점에 되버데라 남시지 부모의 내줄 내 내줄배 내줄들라 추진이 모두지 신전 속에 추인이 도중 상가시 도수 상가시 아니 시제다 고송도 고고래 추고 추인이 실고 롱고 되게 주고 고방고 주고 지정의 정보고 단절배 고송고 고방고 주고 지정의 정보고 고대나게 다리도 다리도서 랑경 하대야데 우르냐데 되고에 미바체 대도니 고 모든 거 봐도 왜 다리도 다리 송우르 째는 데 아니 사지 있고 더 차네 고 모든 거 봐도 유배 미바체 라게 파 주의자가 사도 소팅 단도는 제 차니 되고 말와 소팅 야 나보 영어 소쇼 도게 마콜리티 미바치기들
다시 등장해야 그냥 고맙습니다. So the first thing that you have to do is to send out the countless forms of the deities, and so the actual act of the benefiting sentient beings are very sort of different from each other. And some that they give teachings, and to some they give cause transformations through sending out rays of light from their body, and to some that they send out rays of light from the different mudras, such as like the mudra of the giving highest attainment, and to some they send out rays of light from giving of the refuge, and to some they give initiations, and so thus bringing about the spiritual development among those different beings. And then what will be ultimately eliminated through this purification is the hatred, as well as the causes of that hatred, as completely purified, and at the same time the consciousness aggregate is transformed, and the sentient beings attain to the state of the wisdom of Dhammadhatu, and so finally placing all sentient beings to the state of the 3-bodied Buddha, and remaining there forever, and at the same time that the sounding of the mantra of the deity.
That's it. That is 나가가 요르도 나 이부디베 누구체는 다 디린다던 거리 지거리 다야 세제나 차도게 온 맞다 때무게 온게 뇽부가 때무게 지비네 코코와 니지 삼바체네 대단 대화 자고 삼배고네 지오지 좀 깔무 중고 수주 수송되더라는 니바 나부 우바 야바네 신제나지 때무죠 대야데 지바리 되게 취시하고는 다 디지털고는 다 가다 더 남아 사소지고도 신경이 때무죠 조지 부모 내줄 멜로다비 이시 뭐도체 추고 멜로다비 이시르고 롱고 나만 하제지고 환라고 주고 주마 깔미고라고 어디나지 다리 가 오른다니 쇼송 삼바지 산지 다 산지 살고 차리래 랑게 파주자베 사드 소로요네 지우 사들 자벨라 소템 직시 니
So then the next round, the pattern is very much similar to the one before. So this time the the countless forms of the deity then go out from the crown, that where you have these 33 white deities, and they go out with the breathing through the when you breathe, then through the right nostril, and this time also through the various the methods, different methods, then all the sentient beings are freed from their state of ignorance and as well as the cause of it, and transforming the form aggregate and placing them to the state of the mirror-like wisdom, and bringing about three transformations. One is the transforming them into the Zambokaya form, which is transforming them into the Buddha Vairochana, and then the transformation of the Nimanakaya is transforming all sentient beings in the form of the white Tara. And after that, when action is completed, you have to collect them back into your body.
Sene leji nyata niwe sene onga be sejin jibe donga tu nichi tele driwa chao samba chane tebe jizonga semu tuju renga tele randa ba de meba se churu chene ba na ke khong khong dru seje na ji sena jang nga je da sena jang chugu nyamba nichi ishi la ko longo ri chen jo de ji ko la ko chugu dru semu ko la ko nga ji da du chen shu be mi ba che pa dru be tha so di.
So next one is the with respect to the miserliness. So this time that with very strong, powerful compassion to free the sentient beings from the extremes of the permanence and the nirvana, then you send out again countless forms from the deities, from your neighbor, all of those then with the yellow body, and then helping all the sentient beings to eradicate the negative, the matter factors such as the pride and miserliness, and placing them to the state of the basic wisdom of equality, and finally also you have to collect them back into your body. And then after that, from your throat, the deities with the red body, again you have to send out countless forms, and then purifying the sentient beings from their desire. And transforming the aggregate of recognition.
Sustovi Shilaku, Lungo Ubamejico Honlaku, German Jugo Druma Mami Kulture. Chulunju Sunja Kusunga Honlaku, Chui Daya, Jingo to Chu Unguya to Kangal Jibade. And so through this activity, the sentient beings then attain to the state of the discriminate wisdom of the Buddha, and also bring about three transformations of the Dhammakaya, and as well as the Sambhokaya and the Nimanakaya. After that, from the sacred place, again you have to send out countless forms of the deities with in the green color with green body. And this time the main delusion which is to be purified is the jealousy. And this also brings three transformations, and such as the transforming them into the transforming the formation aggregate, and also placing sentient beings to the state of the wisdom of fulfillment. And also attain to the state of the Zambokaya form, which is with the aspect of the Buddha Amagasiddhi, and the emanation body is the body of the green Tara. So they attain to the state of the three forms of the Buddha. Then Jingu Jeshu the Driven, the meter, or that remove children. Ah, you remove no? The jet. Takanga log machine, Shensu Basu Shimba Nyan Yahuche. Takanga Shengen Suni, Nyan Jebuche, Tashenwa Kabuchi Shinro Jena, Tola Donju Yomare. Locally, Jejan, Shidu Kiju, Chujiore.
So when you have learned this different visualizations, and if you are doing sort of a long recitations, then one can do them very precisely and alternatively, and because that whatever that one accumulates through the practice of Dharma, that is thing that one can actually take with them into the next life. And the mantra that one recites here is this 10-syllable mantra of the Deity. The syllable Om has 6 benefits. So His Holiness will not go into detail the actual formation of the syllable with respect to the original language Sanskrit, because then everybody will be confused, not able to understand, not able to explain. So it will cause only confusion. He will not explain that. So the meaning of the syllable Om, there are many meanings. The first one is it has the meaning of excellence, and then it has the meaning of providing all the wealth that one wishes, and it also makes a person or being very fortunate by reciting the first syllable Om. So these are some of the benefits of reciting the first syllable Om. And then also by reciting the syllable Om, it also makes a person to fulfill his promise, and also it makes everything very auspicious by reciting this first syllable. So it is said to be it's like a jewel. If one makes a special request to the jewel, it can fulfill most of the desire of this life. It cannot bring about anything of the next life, but it can help nevertheless to fulfill much of the desire that one has in this life. So likewise, if one does recite this mantra, first syllable Om, it helps to achieve a lot of the attainments of the practice. So the mantra of this 10-syllable mantra actually contains some of the names of the deity, such like the Untari, the great liberator, and also the Tutare is also another name, such as like the one who is very fast, very swift, and giving the attainments, and very brave. And you find actually in one collection of the Dharanis, the mantras, in that volume you find many different names of the Tara. So it is like calling out for help, like a child would call out his mother for help. In a similar way that one is calling out for help by reciting the name of the deity.
Juni lamar wuji soya de la tari dodari duri sia druma song ya de dongbo de ngesong li juba asya.
According to the interpretation of a great master, Chonda Lama Rinpoche, he said the first two syllables, Tare, it refers to the liberation from the bad migrations. It shows the whole part of the man of initial level motivation. And the second one, the Tutare, then indicates the whole part of the man of the intermediate level motivation. The third word, the third syllables, the Ture, then it indicates the whole part of the man of advanced level motivation. It parts the methods to free oneself from the permanence, from the two extreme permanence and nihilism, and the nirvana and peace, and also it explains the part that leads directly to the state of enlightenment.
Kongesona kuali ju tarima to tare injije turi nawa na le ju mo cha selos tari to tari turi sung ya di tari sia di kuali ju to yin sung yo.
So so thus the whole mantra includes the meaning of the whole part, leading a person from bad migration up to the state of enlightenment. And there's another interpretation that is from another master, Ngawantapa, and he was a great master of white Dharma, the white Tara, and he said the syllables on Tare, it refers to liberation from existence, from the cycle of existence. And Tutare here, according to his interpretation, he says that helping a person to overcome 8 types of dangers. And the Ture, the meaning of that is to help a person from the sickness, from illness.
Jiba de jeli drusia de la chilla, lambu jiba, singi jiba, drugi jiba, kome jiba, chadogi jiba, sade, chugi jiba, megi jiba, tile yoda. Tanda yani, nyomu ba jegi jiba li druari.
So actually the 8 types of dangers are explained with respect to the different things like the water, like fire, and then lion, and snake, and so forth. But actually it refers to 8 types of delusions or the defilements.
Timo lambi jiba jab, chado druji jiba, maja singi jiba jab, nyomu kaka timo minta yor. Pena timo da lambu ji, dralu tile, sume ji lungu nyeru, mazda, karina chi, pidun treshe yor. Nyomu tujin chubirun jiga na jiswa mei jiba, meta nyomu, tini majeni, person de tsundun she yor. Tizun shazen jiba la ikondo mobe kala roju, ngiba dundu nyala labritsi, tabe sola goyo dobaji tizun shaza. Shaze tandar, shaze de yani mambu yore, so jo mitugan, no mitugan, shaze chamudri, yuji yore de, shaze zog mi sola sewa jeba. Beso jokinchi, rinji shamuchi. Deyeza, kondo mube kala roju shins. Tisung singen de, chisate, gomu ki jibore, timu di jibore, ma shen san tisung sabore. Niba dundu nyala labrade, tisung kabat neore sena, tabe kupala neore, tabe lal tisu sawa inza, Kuala Kushiba Nuayo Mare, Nuadundunia Havertsi. Tabe Sola Gube, Dubajin, Tison Shazinji, Majotus. Ordering almost with Jelina Drani, Yoginu Jatsusun, Ginetrugusun, Legimanala, said Hachoyor, or the Rayinza, Nyomu, Nong, Nyomu, Jelly, Jovena, Jiba Jejus, Chin, Timo Lambola Soba, Chi, Jiba Jegi, Tegia, Mari Jiba Jova, Taranata Sun, the Vinebe. drama be to just so mother can she get to do one be le da so ge pa she le tha ya ge tam ju mamu yo.
So you find actually 8 different type of dangers explained, such like like the elephant, and then the snake, and then and like that. And you find this being explained in a text by Great Master Gendutu. And so there you find each of those different dangers are explained and their special function and so forth. But in fact, Tara will not only help to a person from 8 dangers, but in fact she helps more, much more than just 8 inner dangers.
Pena jagalang hema pomuji medo tundu jizuru ha go mare teba chimbu sugi druma yi se druma le jawdi chi sakhu tungu yore kore mo shingu yo mare ko medo tundu saliya lambu chi ji simbare naguge.
So in India, that in former time, that one girl went out to pick some flowers, and then she was caught by an elephant.
Ho chi jin di je men su chi le jong du sa me shina sin le re min yo mari ke ja sa yo mari tin ta te ba chim su ge du ma sing e di si du sa du ma su di ja ga ge tara si ge ba tara si ke ja no ke ja ba yin za na ne long bi ji ba le jo ne long bi chi ko ron ga ru tong yu chi shen bo mu de ge tong ya la ja bi ji phi ma tong me ro jadi jambu shin du firgo jaya shi thong yin bare tere je lambu shi te ya ke jyo ma je ba je do chi chimu ja ma ju ji che na go gi be cha ru le sung che su sin go le ja de ke ma zhong ba chimu min cho de se ji le ke zhong ba chimu men mang go cho de se ke de de ani ya tu sa ji mo le ja bu mo de yang cha sung che che ba lambu shi.
So then there was nobody around in the forest, so she then called out the name of Tara, because she knew that there's something which is being practiced by the followers of the Bodhisattva path. So she knew the name of Tara, so she was calling out for help by Tara, by the name of Tara. And then at that point, according to what this lady saw, that there came a green bird. And then at that moment, the elephant then placed the girl on a big rock and then offered 3 prostrations. And finally, this elephant took the lady into the village where a lot of people are gathered. And there this elephant placed the lady on a little rock and then again offered 3 prostrations.
So what happens is
in that time the king of that place, that country, was dead and it was without king. And then when the people saw that this special type of lady, the elephant also performing prostrations, so that was a very, very great surprise, and she was appointed as the king of that country. So what happened is that she was even more interested to find out the Tara, and she made inquiries from the learned Panditas, and finally also even received the initiation, and then she made a practice of that, and again very high realizations in the part of the practice. And so that she must have already done in the meantime fully enlightened being. So on the other hand, that we that although that we are very much sort of calling out for help with the name of Tara, but then there's little help coming. It's because that the type of faith that we have is not very steady. It's not a very stable one, and so therefore it is very difficult to achieve all the attainments. So there was once a girl also with the name of Tara, and actually that it's quite often that you find the name of the deity being given to persons like the Dolma and so forth, that you find quite often among the human beings. So then there was a Pandita who was very good in writing poetry and poems, and then the king sort of then offered his daughter as bride to this Pandita. And then somebody sort of called by this name, and she naturally then responded because her name was Tara. So the Pandita said that he didn't like to have this as his bride. So the Pandita refused because that it happened that the Pandita's deity is Tara. So he didn't like somebody to live with whose name is Tara. And so at that point the king was very upset. At the beginning that he thought of killing that Pandita, but finally he didn't do that. And then on the other hand, that our attitude is quite different, not like those, and that we tend to mix many different things and not having the proper faith and devotion and so forth. So when you recite the mantra, that you have recited it very precisely and very correctly, and so not so much sort of distort the actual pronunciation of those words, such like if you would recite Tara, then it's not quite correct, and if you would recite like a Vajra, also it's not quite precise. So you have to recite correctly in order to obtain all the siddhis or the attainments.
Jordan che du ka ju na le chi yu yo na de ma lo ko do me ju na yang ju ru cha ji cha ni se ni yang du be gu du ka ga yo re ni yo gu gu ba te lo mo kha she na la ma da wa yin za te mi ke ta la ma da di ya san je ge sun le shu da tong chu gu ma ba.
So with respect to the language today, that many the learned Indians, even the great Pandits today, they never accept these words, such like the Tsa Tsan Za Zanya. They say that these are something invented. These are not to be found in the original Sanskrit language. They only accept 12 vowels, but in fact there are 16 vowels, as it was said in the Tantra of the Chakra Sambhara. There are 16. That's the point that where one visualizes the 16 vowels.
That is deva che yang ha tin tri ba che. Tan deva che da ja yu chu la jue je da che wan de gu re cham nian ba ru cham ru de de tue jiang re de jue yin de jue je de che wan de to na deva de bu da bu ri gu re.
So when you do the recitation, if you could do it with the recitation free of 8 faults, it's very good.
Da jue je de la de mu da pongzong ge shibe ju na song yo de de ju je se me yue me de shi jo zha ba da te zha ba ni che.
So those 8 faults are, the first one is reciting too fast, and one is reciting too slow.
Da chi ma yin ha jiang chung wei me se da che wa da chung wei jue ni che.
And next two are either reciting too loudly or too softly.
Ma yin yin do yin je me se ge che shi ge gen ndo ya da chi sam sim yan ba le yin ndo ya da ni che.
And then the next ones are the reciting, communicating while reciting is also not proper, and then reciting with mind sort of wandering to many different possible objects.
Gu je le gur chi na nyam be me gu je nyam ba da le gur da chi da nyam ba ni je je re je je da che ho gu.
And then the missing the signs of the intonations, or the signs of the certain signs of the mantras are missing. If it sort of misses, then also that one it is not precise way of reciting the mantra.
이게 하든 저 자니베 이게 다 수수는 고좀에 zakate 되어 서로 제는 조송을.
And if one recites too fast, then all the sort of the syllables then come together, reciting together. So this will then make it a very very imprecise.
a hum shadow. 두순에 리리는 너는 전요 말이. 정도면 생겨 이거지.
So when you recite these 3 syllables, then you can recite them quite slowly, and so that is all right if you do it these 3 syllables quite slowly.
이모고 항세노 쇼도 소바 쇼도 항세로 들라 태야데 리메죠 말이. 이게 숨고요 된거래.
Also, at the time of the meditation on emptiness, there's this final 2 syllables called hum. So you can take a little time to make this pronunciation slightly longer, because that there's a special sign which includes 1 extra syllable in that. So you can recite that slightly longer.
Yemba 이게 리리는 너마다부 대송 오모 세상 다 레 드 다 레 승연도 다리 두 다리 세마 디워지 다 레 드 다 레 오늘은 대자비 주래.
And on the other hand, when you recite this mantra and taking too long time to recite next syllables, then that is incorrect.
근데 다치마이 다치좀 내버제 레run으로 들어가 하는데 게 침무전에 가데 미에베게 고나 치송을 랑가마고는 총송을.
If when you do the retreat, if you recite the mantra too loudly so that it could be heard by others, also it's not correct. And then if you recite it too softly, that you also are not able to hear yourself reciting the mantra, is also incorrect.
한 한두개 더글게 쉐기잖아. 다음한에 당기 미시기 받을 추서는 나셔네 전요래.
And also that if you are reciting, that you are not supposed to communicate with others.
아니 카긴하데 상로 카가동 첼로마 상로동 되바 젠다 상로동 그된 세 인소래 나미데 도슈 지그래 젠도 인제메스 디레.
And then while reciting the mantra, if your mind is wandering to many other possible objects, that's also then reciting with the distracted mind is also not proper.
고제 냠바세야데 베나 이게 교구요네 이게 통물에 셔주요네 이게 림부요네 림부레 또저리 통도 동야다 고다 아주요네 링지 지구야 고는 림부 니자요네 아다 통보고야 너보다 근데 인자 두순 냠소나 고제 냠바레.
And then sometimes there are the different signs of the vowels, such like the E sign and an O sign and then A sign and then O signs. Sometimes there are also the double A signs and then double O signs, and then you have to be precise in the pronunciation of those different vowel signs.
레고르 치나냠베 메스 몰레 레고르 베 고고디 텔리게샤요나 콜레베나 가골 켈리요네 강수구레 강스 나르지 통구레 장골레 텔리요네 냐르지 통구레 달리요네 댄스 나르 통구레 텔리수수이다디 통구레 마테네 텔리냠바레.
And also that when you have this little piglet or the circle on top of a certain syllables like ka, then you have to recite it as kang. And so likewise that if you cannot pronounce correctly with respect to the circle on the top, again it is not correct.
제로를 찾아요나 하다 tumbo 남제요나 남제 아다 tumbo 이마면도 하다 tumbo 지고요 찾아니자되요나.
And if you find the way Chinese so if you find in the mantra these double circles sometimes, then also that you have to recite correctly with respect to those different signs. So the main thing is that one should do the recitation without mental distractions and with a very powerful devotion and faith and confidence, and looking at the deity as inseparable from one's guru, and with that attitude, then one should do the recitation of the mantra. And on the basis of that powerful devotion and faith confidence, if one can perform these visualizations which have been explained, then it's very good, very precise. It's said that if one does a recitation with one's mind wandering to other places, then even if that one goes to recite for hundreds of aeons, it will have no benefit, it will have no results. So actually there are the 6 types of the recitations that one can perform, and the one that is already explained is the visualization of the recitation of the samaya, the commitment, in that you send out rays of light and collect back. So that is one special type of recitation of the commitment. And one of the other way of reciting the mantra is the directing one's mind to those luminous syllables of the mantra. And here one doesn't need to aid the visualization of the recitation of the commitment. One can only remain with one's mind concentrated, directed to those luminous characters of the syllables of the mantra. So at the end, that when you finish the recitation of the mantra, you have to recite the long mantra Bodhisattva. So this time, that from the heart of the Lord of the family can come the rays of light, which completely purifies all the mistakes that one had committed in the way of reciting the mantra, having been sort of imprecise or having left out syllables, and all the faults and the mistakes are completely purified through this. So actually it is said that one should recite the mantra Bodhisattva 3 to 7 times, but in the practice that one does it only once. So then for the retreat after this recitation, then one does the recitation of the mantra to invoke the wisdom beings. So this is done one can do it in a very elaborate way, or one can do it by in a very concise way. That is by adding the 4 syllables Hua Anze, and if the mantra has home pair at the end, then one can add these 4 syllables right end of the line. If the syllable has swaha at the end, then one can fit in between here these 4 syllables of the wisdom invoking, and then finally put in the swaha. So thus one has to recite this wisdom invoking mantra. So His Holiness will not explain the way to the retreat and the way to do the recitation of the wisdom invoking mantra with visualization. So this one can study from this special guideline for doing the retreat, and one can study from that text. So there are many possible retreats that one can make. The one is the retreat that is done through time. It is said that one can do 6 months retreat, but it's said it's very easy to spend 6 months. One can also doing very little recitation, and most of the time being sort of living in leisure. Also one can spend 6 months very easily.
Tsem nyemba di yashu yin sori. Tsem nyemba tembu chuna na mucha malone jure. Rede tsem nyemba mazu cha shoya yomare. Marasu tsem nyemba tende yomare. Melam ji tong chuna au ji ba suri. Chui ni ba ji tong chuna ngai ji tong chu ji imba da suri. Jeda du ba she dewe jang. Halo uri. Jeda tsem nyemba le cha shoya na ju yomare.
then it is actually said the best type of retreat is to do it until that one receives some indications, some signs of some positive signs. But then again, this is cannot be relied on, since that it's possible that one may get some dreams, and then one can interpret in that dream in many different positive ways, and even certain illusions during the retreat also can be interpreted as something very great sign or indication. So it's possible that one can have certain obstacles coming from the maras, and so therefore also this is something that one cannot rely on.
Jibane sumo libe tseme nyamane tsema maju ba da dong nyamane da mongcha ju du jibe nyamane da ru shi sunde da mo ne ngonya jiri su ko da sunge tsema de mo mano jo da nyabane le ro za la mora chi te le sa de ju che je si wi shi me ma ka ku shi wi je si na du be cho ji be ji chi mo la ro mora je da mora ja da ma da mora ju de ru mo chi da shi yi shi me ma ja na ju che mo so da wo de ju che Jensi Jona Li Shimiti Hodamela Todongubenya Badamele, Jushe Jensi So Jona, Chodo Jushin, Muju Nur, Niajin Tongkai in the Mela Todongubenya Sigori, Mela Todongubenya Jen Saint Totagi Yamachik, Mela Jensi Yan Saint Totagi Jensi Chagor, Tichin Tonyona, Pena Jije Niajin the Mele Yabaton Jayona, Yamaso Gomari, Chudi Gushovari. Nireta Jada Gomari, Kachi Gio. The men Melato don't go with Yabati, some go on is a Jessie Fiat to Lachimu Yuri. Timado, the Jinechimusia to the Jene, Pnei Corona Tower, May Cittamani Yishida, Shesebu, Jebu, Shiraya, we ordered so. Montra Yuri, Yabata Drubal, Yadru Drama. Drubala, Daju Majun, Daju Jando Goinza, Nimala Daju Nin Druba, Shabungaju with Sabu Suachiore, Yambadi Hall don't worry. The day ordered the Nayina said in Durable. 我呢就我的这里说住吧了，那多的那么有了的，到了去就住吧，我就阿拉这边上的我们都没去，送来就我的人家说了嘛，叫我这边上的人没去送的，直接把我这边也不是，年一人，这把我这边年一拉人都太要的，年轻的呢，菜上菜了呗，你咋那么过进对不对？我要的菜看日用，的拉人都太的，三空个年一的全部拉人养太的。 세공의 년이 고도 년바대 공부지 못다 안 좀은 년바대 뭐 지지 년이 뭐 자하지 중어리 아니 라래 도다 돈이 배 갈래 칼도 지메산데 오비니 이주도 님을라 연재 자딘 리뷰거리 매제자를 표거리 되면 저 말이 지는 로이네 자딘지게 바쿠 알랑가도 수지 갈래 손에 연재 표 양바치 주 되고라 지말로네 연재 대 매제자 표거리 티 체리 도지 지엘을 싫어하지 고통 배 대용이 지르고 레드다도 쉐고면도 아래 체면 예발을 되는 지리오 말에 손로치
So his Holiness has repeated that, like he said before, that one cannot sort of depend on the certain inner indications or signs that one may sort of receive, such like the dreams and so forth. But this is something one cannot depend on, rely on. Sort of not think that when you have a dream, you shouldn't think that it's something very great or coming from the practice, this kind of dream that one receives. Even if that one actually sees or receives a vision of the deity, it could also be certain obstacles from the maras.
That is what Tanju Mishe Godu, that's Handruchi, to tell Doruchi. So much to do Jada Javalani, so on you to Javati Gumo, Tomambo, Tamuni, Son leve de Netunju, Karani, Javani, Shivani, Jimmy, Mabaja, Shivi Baras, the Jishi, the Rinjigo, Netomaju, Jimmy, Telejola, Larishin, Go. Telara, Laraseva, Tokane was it, Shumu City, and Rinji, the Latimi. Colonga, Lanaja, Corona, Arazon, Latin, Sanilla, Nazomative, Latin, David, Somaniga, Somalatima, Sative, Sane, Netimane, Tesang, Tomuba, Meji Shepherd, Ruada, Chio Somondembe, Somalatim, Somon, Hinga, Somalat, Timbani, Johi, Chevalier, Jasin, Gavijan, Bob, Gajin, Meji Shepherd, Juat. Ya Raya to Shin Hingasoma Timothy Arjan, Nadeba to Timshi. Nada Mimi bar member was sitting on the ten, the Dula Tijan Yamar Jasha, Tombe Amalechili, Nyadawa, Amapanala Jason Shavashandorani, Zunoko, Jeda Chatsen, So Yonso, Zobe, Koyanambara Shimba, Yashimbara Sam, Jennifer Chadi Yogumade, Soli, Jerigo. Miba made na Shivani Sim, Shushimi, Miba the majority of Baji Sonde, Rangia is a modo, they were telling Garbo Samazan, Jizemagoyon Rosamati, Tuatami, Hajinjab, said out the Miba de Bani, Chami Najurti, Tiale, Tamu Jingo, Jonwana, they think the Jubishan and did the Vichati, La Jonze, Nego, Jingo, Choban, Savimidel, Rabel, Hagomala Ju. Tea Jung Jendo China, Chati, Ninge, I think Naziragumada Guna Chedok and Naziragum, Simishomada Gubashini, Chingo Chubara Sonja, and then the Revenage, Iwan Miguber. Tadi Jola Shineta within as a Gonkela Sore, Mazula Tacha, good dog Mare, Tejoina, that's a sondo, Telenava Songoyag and Dungan Hazila Teleguyati, Miba Toy Jengi, Georgia. 大姐，那这几天公园的没把马不切吧印象，过不去啊！但是你了，天天买不起呢，卡起让接过来，让给他这了，他也怎么了？天天用着咱们去，呗，天天搞不用呗，什么咱去拿到大点给多的就是这嘛，用着这些，第一拖个了单位，刚才那接吧晒的呢，我的晒不就没把带呢，结果人家了第一平个样。 Maybe Tovan, she was said to worry. Maybe Travan, go said to worry. Or the insult. Go on, Tradio, Sonja, then did a nage, you want me go for Rangivan has in the Gumako, Kone Sombani, made their Tovan, which was sent to the church, made the Travan, Trugo Shane, maybe them be. Go back and tell us all job, and you didn't maybe a genius, which you got job with my mother. Jendo maybe Jim Song with the Jendo River Jau. Chiri Ravatara Chem, Tawado Benaju Dashin, Senior Dovachan, Nazi Tradi Lama Jeba, Chiri Jambe, Jingo the Tail, Tunchumba, Najiri Tamu Dashin, Senior Toban Joro, Sombatombo, Sonle, Tomon Bevaran, Shiva Nation, Subaru, Jawishibe, Barson, the Tomache, Lavani, Moso, Shamba. Shambe Tomatia made Saja, Son, you going to change the Karana, you going to Shivatara, Naishi, Jujuba, the Jinji love, Tomanama, you Jaji, love Simbana, Oishi, the number, no so Jimmy Tomata, 2 days of a number you were somebody, will I say this is joy, Mama. Shivachi, no Tomachi, love Sene, Jun, the Regional Senior, you go and reject the Jaji, Chi, Jaji, Jaji, whenever you are not to see Jimeno, Penari, Huj, Regi Comenaji, Dabu, Regi Comachi, Dabu, not to see Jivaju, Tele was Ijibu, Tunji and Doji, Tribute, Tomala, Sober Nani, Moon, Silver, some Umayda, she saw Mumal and Duna, Sonjimu, they go around give a love to eat him, Kachi, Chaji, the Karatuni Mosjava, Javara Mulam. They are Ayatari, Pamadu, Sabaru, recorded in them de Balita Toma, Kaka, Swam, Ji, Kaya, Sushi, Jiva, the Dartoma, Toshin, Doji, they were good to you was driven like driven over to the country, will let you do something. I can see Shivan, Johnny never to Shivan, Yamada, Jivan, Paramo Denta, Jaya, Lady Mada, Dombu, Soja, Nubi, the Soda, Yuna, Juda, Mena, she Suja, she Sonja, Kandaya, Chari, ju jinje le be che rang la nge bara ten gu sto ten gu ba gu ma khen zuru do ji chang ge song ju le chung do ma pyo ge yin na do ma jinje la se na che na je re song ro.
So when you make the Dharma offering, you have to bless it like with the text for the in offering. One has to bless the Dharma and then offer it.
Na che chen la ka si she sai ba che sa jinje la sa du zhe rang re do ma chen ne tong ya ma do sa ya me do sa lo ma di ji re.
So, so since it was already explained, so therefore it is transformed into the nectar, the Dharma that one is going to offer it.
jinje la cha so na du zhe yin ba la ya do me su da su ju ga su ja yo ne de le ya zhe na bu de le be do me su da le ya zhe yin ju du zhe yin ba be za wa ge ngo ri ya su da de le cha be mi ba che cho so ne la me she ji du zhe ya bu shi bu yin su yo.
So after the blessing, that whatever that you have arranged as a Dharma, all of these different edibles that what you have arranged, then actually from the nature they're all nectar. So in such a way that you can offer it to the guests.
다른 네 자마 임베신 다들 되는 진짜 동쇼. 다 도만 표도 도는 제 장도 마도 다제로 도 표주 요 말이. 도만 표는 모르 쇼와리. 랑가랑 모르 쇼동야 요 마바. 제가 랑게 도 홍일 당일에 와서 주 지점마다 선지자 저 소고 제장 스베 지점마다 왜 코르소 잡다 비고 제장.
So when you make the Dharma offering, you have to invite the object for making of these offerings, because you cannot make offerings to yourself. So therefore, through raceable light coming from the green syllable Tam, then you have to visualize the complete mandala of Tara as guest for the Dharma offering.
And Dharma raga lava le jane chore, majane jabe mevaje. Miba la chela juni pure mevajane and giore. Lavado so doji temokachi. Jimma Hatuna Jav Zebu Jandu Suva Jurus, Yachi la Jagi was a Buguto me Ju Tramani, Tenala Hun, Sube, two years on Savaje, either Sabaro in Makaga Kayukai.
So you can actually place the Dharma in your own hand, or you can send out the offering goddesses who make the offering of the Dharma. So anyway, that when you make the offering, you should think that the very essence of the Dharma is taken through the light tube coming from the tongue of the deity, in such a way that you present the offering of the Dharma. And then after the Dharma offering, that you have to make the usual set of offerings, such as like on Vajra Agam, and then after that the inner offering. And then after this, you have to recite again the praise of the 21 praise to Tara, and followed by this special request.
Mani Yusa Mashi, Doma, Zonda Majuata, Chela Yago Majua, Dingen the Misewata, Teneki Niva Kang, Yuba the Changshi, Jam.
Then after the recitation of the mantra, the 100 syllable mantra, that is to clear one from any possible the mistakes that one might have committed in the way of offering the Dharma, whether one hasn't done it sort of very clean, or whether one hasn't been able to generate a powerful meditative stabilization, or any mistakes or faults of making offering of the Dharma will be purified.
Then Allah Sundan Jode Yamu other page given the bottom of the window. Sumule Yamada Jojong, no television, no Debaya Dagati to show you. Chella Church said, Nermium, Tim Injimiji Jayaduji, Pijacorona Sevudo. Then Niva Jones has on. Then you know, men she switch issues. Then you don't see you got Jene, Chachi Rana Ting Godi, Yadame Mema in somewhere. So when you have done the offering already completed, then you have to do the consecration, or that you can ask them to return their own natural abode. So anyway, that you have to
you have to dissolve into your body the one aspect or one second form of those guests into your own body. So when you invite the guest for the Toma offering, that you don't have to think about the commitment being, only that you have invoked the wisdom being as guest for the making of the Toma offering. So when you come to this point, that only one part of those invited wisdom beings will be absorbed into your body, and then half will be absorbed into the object. So according to the tradition or the teaching of this great abbot of Goma Tatsang of Daegu Monastery, Dambachimbe, he said that when you finish the offering of the Thoma, you have to dissolve into your body part of the wisdom beings which you have invoked, and half will be absorbed into the object representing those deities. And the offering of the Thoma actually can be done after every session. If you are doing 4 sessions, you can do 4 offering of Thomas. Or if you don't do it, then you have to do at least at the end of the last session, you have to make the Thoma offering anyway.
Messi pejiri tongse dondo de nyeje chu ji la tun da tun sama ni ji tun ji nya tun sama ni so jie jiang tun ji du yun tong xi pejiri tun sa ni yin be de men da de du ni xi ma ge so de na tun li jiang tun sa ni de ju la de ji na tun sama ji tun ji nya ne la bo de ji be tun ji tun sa ni la bo tun ne tun da tun san ji lu ji song de ge ju la sa ji xin de chi wan ju le tun sama ji ne ju la ne de do cha wo de na de la nga ji la ma ji ne ju ji ne se ne 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 da ye ne ju de da ji ba da mo ne song le da tun ne ju de la nga ju la ji ne ju chu ji ne ju se ji ne ju ne ne ju da ne ju ma chi he ya dang bo la tun sama ji ne ju ne ga na ta ji la ma la sang su ji ne ju de cha ba la lo ba ji me xie so ba zu la so ba mi gi yu ga na ma ta ji ma go ye na ru na ye yu do da gang da ba ji me song ge na ru te do gang sha ba ta ji me tu ji na ru de cha ba la la ga na ge ga na da ba ran jam da de dong che we zhou so che wa ne ma lu ji ong bu gu du ju da so ju la ne ba xie so de da me ba xian du de ji to ye lu ma ge me ge wa na cha ge wa ju ne na so ba de we ma we ja lo ma de ji ja wa na ge wa ju no bo so pen yu ta ye ba song de关于的是这个国外呢，那个呢就把它这个人家今年把的呢，恰恰上完也是什么道路，就是这个土木完的就会，我们国东把它真把，像真把它实现，他这边就把说了，这里就在那就嘛，在那拉连都给几头是从不头，嘛那边是不土木嘛，因为他那就那么讲的，要是那么两个说，他说现在就了，这当然说了，人家说阿拉拉一下去，做的。确实送进来就到那么过的，每个家里同进来就是这么过瘾上班的，就是这么过瘾，那么就是意思。俺们叫那伢你家里推个那这推把钱些，然后他每次出来弄这钱以内呗，就这么送，大家都在这对看就让这瘾上班着，让个现在恰当梦说的准备给什么钱不钱，跟着这不去挣个多的，就这么头瘾上班，我的确实送不定一把都过不了，这种呢，钱全部要一么的。
So in the between sessions, that at least that one has to know the 3 different the situations. The one is that whatever forms appear to your eye, whatever forms, you have to think of them as the actual form of the deity, and whatever sound that you hear, whether it is sound of the different elements like water, fire, wind, and so forth, then you have to think of all of those different sounds, the very sound of the mantra of the deity. And whatever conceptions that rise in your state of mind, whether it is attachment, hatred, or ignorance, or whether any kind of virtuous conception, whatever arises in your state of mind, you have to think them as the very conception, the very thought of the deity arising in your state of mind. So when you sort of take meals, then also that you have to visualize some deities in your body, such as that in the throat you have to visualize Buddha Vajradhara, and at the heart you have to visualize Tara, and at the navel you have to visualize one of the 4 different aspects of the Mahakala. And so with this visualization, that if you then would take the meal, then you accumulate the merit as though that you are offering a Gana Chakra.
Melam Zembardu, Melala Melayama Shiva, She so Tenshi, Dandeji, Tenshi, Shoda, Dende, Melam Zumba, Simana, Jamata, Juvada, Pevada, Melaji, the Kone, so Sola, Labara, Chadi, Didala Sheja, Shendama, and the Melangi, and Richuru, so Sumata, Jawad, Naso Lambara, Chao. Ya tawing shi tembo ni yu na ni kara chudu da da de tin ri ji mi ba mi ju ne we se ji bar ji gong do chu gu lang chi ji go so me ba da ra ji ne tawing shi shu da zhang de we se ji ma do ni la de dang me ga zu chu de nya da ba na da bo na gal to ba la de do ji do la gu ri ji bar so me na ni de ji so gu ru song ji me ji che ba ji de ju la me la de ba so la che che shi ni ju se dong ni Lo Juru never saw an edge, never near Chimandi, Jungli, Masonja, Nezeli Jumadar Kuba, Nabani, Sungli, down say, young Loya Jugu, Hajida Droba, and Heji, children, down Shiva Lamara, but never saw. Cholam not switch down them, but Javani, Chevo, she saw the Ku Kamalas were young. Yembe Loya, Yigujubha, Yembara Druba Soju, Kuba, Nani, Mela, Yellow, Hamadana, never Shigada de. Pende no de pende no wa da je ba Jeshin Beang, Nividim, Yancha Sada, Jib Namration, Yangorizimara, Timishi, Nakashubella, Yomayara Timber, Samne, Daniel, Chimadarana, Kondara Children, Yadawata, Jedwada, Young Zuji Danshi, like Managala Manara, Timbaram, Sambaso, Kondano, the Darajiri. Tara la Thubten Dhargye Ling, Solana, Senya, Jalu, Kudugajush, the Taramani, Jajin, the Sozi, the Tanamos, Monium Chiri, Barsheti, Sungia, Navas, Salanji, Tovachi, to repair to the Majoya, Chicada Batusu, Jism, Jesus on the Dabish, Zombo Chibata, Seren and Seren, the Jesus, Chuni Yila, Chabardo, Jism Pamani, Sanji, Chili, Razu, Imbe, Chelaji, Sakashin, and Yurshin, Ruana, Kuali Ruala, Tujin, Chichiri Labe, Sento Druma, Chabatan, which Jibu, Jesus was Jibe, Niembe, the men saw to Jesus was number Tavology, Tayeva Shijuba, near Chazayam, Jobaraman, Teda, Chimido, Ishi, but Tabu Jania, Sabelamani, Lane, Nejin, Zuma, Niamba, Lebara, Timbe, Sunli, Joa Daraji, Le Ranjamana, Koso Kampo, Druvala, Shona, Sujan, Meda, Cheribeba to Major Kajubala, Subatati, Nebar and Rubanyaso, New, Joyeno, the remember Sebasimi, Cherito, Rondo, Tade, Adu, Momeji, Zive, Rude, Tadon, Shenila, Moveta, Tigja, Tadon Kebe, Kedan Zombar alone, Pasa member, Dumaji, Chimne, Deve. Mento Sim, Deve Mento Sim, Kiju, and non Yurugo, to reveal Habara to Sibi Ponso, Entered Rependi, Niembolun, Toman, the Narjata, Don Baby, and Jojima Drode, Jimandro, the Randoji, Truvado, Nashi Jun, Erde Jesse, Jeda, the second Habra Zibe, Toji, Dam, Toji, Trubego, Taleb, and Odula, Jago. Yegon Chile, Pomone, Zidu, Jumen, Jugi, Juju, Chiva, some year change, Kacho Gobe, or Tro, Congo Chamber, Munia, Lamoji, Niete, Control, China is a control, Donna, Nanmodo, Generation, Dane, Chobruja, Chemeso, Lava, and Chile, Sagurini, Danja, Pameshi, Trumunia, Sandy Gerson. I gave the reading so some give Gondi, me one and Conjo Kevata, Keruda, Tadagi, Dagi Gavarche Doji, he gave Bonza Shedal, Shalom Duzidam, Dembali, young to Sheju, so do Doji Seven, Dewa, Popa Chuju Doji, Jason, Pame Son Doji Young, Sashi Jerry Judun, Jivision, Chimulate, Shedan, Neji, Sevarji, Chena Tribe, Dani, Siji Gonla, Judam, said that over you give to the Gobo, Torini, Jorushiba, Pagojing, Youngson, Pembao. Dali, changing treaty, that's a Jamadon, the Sarre, and Shirashta Shebu, Shalom and Dudi, Tizaji Kure, Shani Sevure. There's a Nani Chigini Zunumadi, Yilajanta Meda Dupe, Nurbo. And have the Leso to do in a Leso Mambuyo, Leso to the Lake Karkato, Rokendo. Shirai or thing else will meet other Taji Chumaso, and Jumum, you want to buy share sugar. That's all in the area. Don't you go to Soja?
I can't go inside. Need the share.
Need the Chagale at Soja. Oh, yeah.
So, this one says that with that, it's roughly complete the explanations on the generation stage, and if one does practice this particular deity, then it's very there are many possibilities, there are many type of practice, and it's only said not named all of this possible practice that one can carry on, but there might be some opportunities later to explain more details. And then he will stop there for today. And then the last part on the generation, completion stage, will be given about 2:30. Right? At 2:30.
Guru
Okay.